Greetings, everyone. I am Dr. Wolf, and I just watched Between Dark and Dawn. And, oh my goodness, this is such a weird episode. Seeing Celestia and Luna acting so excited and angry with each other and coming up with these over-the-top facial expressions one after the other. It's just a weird episode. And I still had a lot of fun with it. I mean, who would have expected that we'd get to see this side of Celestia and Luna? I mean, being so prim and proper for so long, you have to wonder just how long Celestia has been winding herself up internally, just holding things back to look more regal and proper. I mean, back in season 1, the most we got to see of her acting a little bit this way is when she's taking little sips of tea and then pretends and, oh, gotcha. And looking at it now, I mean, goodness, is she just taking more cues from the main 6 on exactly how to let go and have fun? It's obvious that there are plenty of ponies throughout Equestria, even when they're on vacation, who just love seeing that they're there and loving to take pictures, and oh my goodness, it's hard to separate the fact that they are the rulers of Equestria. And yet for this one episode, Celestia and Luna just act like they're normal everyday sisters, and it's weird. And yet fun. Anyway, the story begins with this giant turtle eating the apple trees and almost eating Spike at the same time. And the main 6 have it handled until the royal sisters show up and suddenly take care of everything. I believe it was something like, "My sister and I will take care of the beast." And then Dash goes, "All the times we needed their help and they show up for this?" Yes. It is kind of pointing at their own flaws throughout the series, because a lot of us have been wondering why Celestia and Luna have been stepping out for so many national emergencies. But I think that's kind of the point behind this episode. There isn't a whole lot of logical sense to a lot of what's going on. It's kind of just, this is the final season of the show, and we really want to show Celestia and Luna letting loose and having fun, and even going through a highly predictable point of, well, I don't want to have my sister around. Well, then again, I guess I do miss her. That's super predictable. Much like with the main 6 getting in over their heads with this swan celebration. I forget what it's called. But yeah, you could see coming from a mile away that Twilight is going to get in over her head by trying to do everything herself and failing to delegate. And yeah, quickly learning, oh, that is a solution. We'll just tell ponies what to do and we'll look at things from the outside. It's not really much of a lesson to learn. This is something that we've seen in the series time and time again, about siblings making up with each other, about Twilight learning that she can't do everything herself. It's nothing new there. I'm not very interested in the lesson presented here. But with that said, everything else is just over the top fun and weird, and my goodness, the facial expressions that keep going through my head. I think my favorite has to be when the zip line, and afterwards they get their pictures on mugs. It's like going to any amusement park and seeing those kinds of things. It's a fun little conflict that Celestia and Luna want to do different things, and eventually it reaches the breaking point because Luna feels like she's always being bossed around. And honestly though, there isn't a whole lot to dissect with this episode, with the exception of maybe this is perhaps the most we've ever seen in the series in regards to what I suspect is more like a midlife crisis. I mean, the Royal Sisters have been around for more than 1,000 years. They're almost to the point of retirement, and they're definitely excited about, well, we can do whatever we want once we get to that point, and I want to try these things out now where it's possible. Yeah, this is very much like any adult who reaches a point where they feel Their youth has left them behind. They've been working for who knows how long, and they want to rediscover that excitement and passion for life that they had long, long ago. In that respect, I think this episode does present something new, along with the wild facial expressions and just the weirdness of, say, Luna being fascinated with the post office. I mean, who would have seen that coming? But then again, if Luna is constantly in other ponies' dreams and seeing the wild imaginations go every which way, maybe she would be so fascinated with the mundane. But that is another part of this episode that I feel was a real big missed opportunity. Can you imagine if instead of just taking over on princess duties during the day and raising the sun and moon, what if one or even all of the main six were given charge over Pony's dreams? Because I would have absolutely loved to see someone like Pinkie Pie give her interpretation on how to help ponies in their dreams. At some points it would be over the top hilarious, and at other points it would be over the top terrifying. When I was reading the synopsis for this weeks ago, I was really hoping that they would do that, but I guess this episode has still got plenty of weirdness to go around, even without the dreamscape. I don't know. There isn't a whole lot to dissect with the lesson because it's definitely something we've seen multiple times in the series before. It's definitely predictable in how the conflicts are going to be resolved, and along the way is what makes the episode most entertaining overall. Because yeah, you wouldn't have figured that Luna would know nothing about getting sunburns, and yet, okay, that's actually kind of makes sense now that you think about it. Still, the idea that these sisters get their chance to be their true selves instead of prim and proper all the time, even for just this one opportunity during the final season. Because we've seen snippets of this from Celestia before, where she thought that the main six ruining the Grand Galloping Gala in season 1 was the most fun she's ever had, and then took it up another step when Discord came along with his own brand of chaos during the next Grand Galloping Gala. Celestia has always had this side of herself, but it's still a little strange when you get to see an entire episode dedicated to exactly how excitable she can be. I know there's going to be plenty of fans out there who will create all sorts of memes with what Celestia and Luna have been doing this episode, and in some ways I kind of wish I could have seen this side of them seasons ago to keep developing it further. But in other ways, I'm really glad that we actually got this opportunity at all. It's fun to see them try and take charge of even the little emergencies around Ponyville, because it's just so wildly different from what we've seen of everything in the series thus far. I wish the main six had more to do rather than just be overwhelmed by preparing for this swan celebration thing. And occasionally we have a couple of good lines like, "How rude." I still prefer the original, but it's always fun to hear her say that, even more than once in this episode. It's certainly not my favorite in season 9 thus far. I still think that has to go with Frenemies, with just how over the top the villains' interactions were. But this still had plenty of fun moments, and still kept me invested on, oh my goodness, what are they going to do next? At least until things got a little too predictable with how the lesson turns out. I don't know, maybe this could have been an example of an episode that really didn't need that kind of conflict, where it was just, hey, let's have some fun with these characters regardless of trying to create these predictable conflicts and see what kind of situations we can put them in. But I don't know. I guess the MLP staff do have that kind of prerogative. There has to be something that the characters learn in each story. But then again, what do each of you think? Given how long we've been waiting to see the Royal Sisters let loose and have fun, is this the best way to tackle that kind of idea? And honestly, out of all the activities like zip lining and skydiving and barrel riding, visiting the post office, and even the opera. Which do you think brings out the best side of each of these sisters? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, because as always, I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.